Now, defining, estimating and disseminating statistics on illicit financial flows in Africa was the focus of a plenary session held by the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa and the federal government in Abuja. The one-week workshop is to further strategize on ways of curbing illicit financial flows, which is hampering the development of the continent. Our correspondent, Mayor Thomas, reports.
Illicit financial flows have remained a major obstacle to Africa's growth and development. Nigeria is one of the worst hit on the continent. This is because corruption is rife in the country. Illicit financial flows drains the continent, as statistics says Africa loses about $50 billion per annum to it, while Nigeria alone loses about $18 billion annually to illicit outflows. This data is largely speculative, as there are no recent data to know the financial outflows Africa loses, which has also crippled ability to fight this menace holistically. For this reason, the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, following the Thabo Mbeki report on illicit financial flows, is carrying out an intervention in Africa to identify the indicators and ascertain the volume statistically.
And Africa's productive capacity would be improving. So it was important for the continent to galvanize around this. It is just about resources that are created in Africa should support development in Africa. Now, the problem is that we have had issues with the people who support the resources going out of the continent.
In this process, we'll actually be able to showcase what we've done in Nigeria and how we're going to estimate illicit financial flows. We'll then present it to the task force committee, which then sets a benchmark for the rest of the other countries on the continent, as well as Latin America, and then we'll provide as advice to Asia on how we actually measure and estimate illicit financial flows.
Trade misinvoicing has been identified as one of the largest sources of illicit financial flows in Nigeria. It is therefore important for all departments, ministries and agencies in the country to ensure they do not engage in one or can also identify a doctored invoice. Mayor Thomas, CVC News, Abuja.